Hello, everybody. My name is Jorge Lozano. I am a Technology and Media Specialist here at the Everett Library at Queen's University of Charlotte. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a quick recording using Adobe Audition CS6 here in our recording studio. The first thing that I want to tell you about is I want you to use an external drive to save all of your projects. Even though there's some storage here locally, you never know if someone's going to come erase it or move it or change it. So you always want to keep control of all of your digital assets. And the easiest way to do that is to just get a USB drive. Relatively good one would be about 4 gigabytes. You can get them a little bit bigger. They're not very expensive. So, I think it's worth the investment. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in the front. And it will show up on our desktop. There it is. This is an HP model, so, nothing else to say there. I'm going to go ahead and launch Adobe Audition CS6. It should be in the dock. If you can't find it, you can press the Command key and the Space key at the same time. This brings up the spotlight, and you can actually type in Adobe Audition if you wanted to, and it's right there. You can launch it from there. I'm going to go ahead and use the quick icon here. Okay, so another thing that I want to show you is this window here may not look exactly like you see it here. Okay, someone might have come by and it's using different settings, and it's just it may not look how you want it. So the very first thing that I do is at the very top there should be a little place where it says Workspace. Go ahead and click on the drop-down box right next to Workspace and select Default. This will always send you back to something that's familiar. And so for that reason, I recommend using it. Okay, but we're going to just do a quick, very simple recording, right? Go ahead and click on File, hit New. And what you want to do is you want to do an audio file. A multi-track session is a way for you to edit audio. Not very important right now. Again, we're doing a very simple audio file. There's going to be more information on that multi-track session in a minute. Also, I'm not going to address right away issues of the mic not working, anything like that. I'm going to leave it for the end of the video where we do a little bit of troubleshooting in case you were having trouble. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click, let me go back, New, Audio File. Is going to ask you a question. First, it's going to ask you for a name. So I'm going to name it My Audio File 1. Sample rate 44,100. That's acceptable. If you knew the sample rate that you wanted, say that you had some video and you knew for a fact that that video is actually a 48K or 64K sample rate, then you would choose it here. The default is 44,100, and I would stick to that unless you knew for a fact that it was something else. The propensity here is to think, oh, well, I'm going to turn it all the way up to 192. Well, that makes a really big file, and it may not match other files that are more standard later down the editing process. So just stick with the standard 44,100. You won't notice a difference, I promise. The channels. Stereo versus mono versus 5.1. 5.1 is your surround sound. You don't want that. It's just your voice, and it's going to create letter problems because if you record it with 5.1, it's saying 5.1 channels. So you're actually going to have 5 channels of your voice, and down the road that may be problematic. Mono means one channel only, and you're thinking, well, there's only one microphone. I really don't need 2 channels, but I want you to leave it in stereo because for most applications, when you bring in some video, bring in, say, another audio file, a music file, all that stuff is going to be in stereo more than likely. So let's just stick to stereo. Bit depth should be at 32. It could change, but you want it 32. I won't go into the specifics as to why, but let's just go ahead and click OK. All right, great. So right now you have something that's more or less familiar. Most programs have some sort of range way to record. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to come down to the bottom here, and you should have some rows. Back, forward, and then this is the record button. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit record, and I should see myself. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hit stop. Okay, so you're thinking, oh my gosh, why does this look so weird? Use the wheel to actually zoom in and out. That was what was going on. You were zoomed in all the way, and depending on how the system was used before, it could be that it was zoomed in or out. So there it is. This is your voice. I should be able to play it back and hear myself. And I should see myself. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, great. So that was a simple recording. The audio levels were good. They're not super high. You're not at the very top. So see, even when I got the loudest, I didn't hit the bottom of that. You'd hear some clipping. So this is actually a very good recording. You could, if you wanted to, at this point, change it though. So you can double click in the middle, and you can change this adjust amplitude. So you can click down on it in the middle and then go down, and that brings the volume down, or go up and that brings the volume up. If you have a good recording, don't mess with it too much. Why? Because there are going to be better times for you to change that recording. Say that you were recording something for use later in a larger project. Well, what you're really interested in at this point is getting a good bass recording, and then later, chances are you're going to have to match your voice to music. Chances are you're going to have to match your voice to other recordings. So you don't want to mess around with it too much, because the reality is that once you get that further along in the project is when you'll know what you need to do to your voice. So if you've got a good recording, if it's not clipping, if it's not too low, if it's not too loud, leave it. Okay? Great. So I have this recording here. What am I going to do? I'm just going to simply hit File and then Save As. My audio file and .wav. WAV is a uncompressed audio format. It keeps quality really well. The problem is it can be a little bit of a large format. You could say, I'm going to change the format here to MP3, QuickTime Audio, AIFF, which is what Final Cut Pro likes really well. I am actually going to leave it at WAV because most software will accept it. The sample rate, you already knew, 44,100, 32 bits. You selected that earlier. I am going to change the location. Why? Because right now, this is just going to save it on a media drive. I want to hit Browse, and I want to select my thumb drive. And here it is, the HPV125W. If you forgot where that came from, it is right here. Okay? Select it. I'm okay with that name, audioFile.wav. Sounds great. Hit Save. Hit OK. Great. So now I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to double click on my drive. And there it is. So if I play it, I should hear myself. And I should see myself. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Great. Now you're going to see another file. This is a PKF file. This has a little bit of extra information for Adobe Audition. You don't have to worry about it. Since you already have a recording here, you can actually get rid of this. If you were going to keep working with it, I would keep it together just in case Adobe needs some settings out of there. Like I said, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, well, that is the end of a recording. You came in here, you put in the drive, you started up the software, you made a simple recording, and then you minimize the software, you double click to make sure that you indeed had recorded something and it indeed sounds great, and that's it. You can take this drive and go home. But I promised you a troubleshooting section, so that's what I'm going to do right now. Say, for example, and I'm actually going to break this on purpose. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to, under the system preferences, I'm going to go to sound, and there are different options. Number one, you have your sound effects, output, and input. Since I was checking things before, the input selector is already pushed down, but it could have been over here somewhere. Make sure you go to input. There are different sources on your machine. The Rode Podcaster because I have a USB microphone attached, and it's called the Rode Podcaster, it's available for selection here. Now, there are other inputs. You could have a line in, a digital in. A line in is if you connect, say, an audio board to the jack in the back of your of this computer. That is not a likely scenario here. We would more than likely just be using the microphone. Digital in, if you had a digital machine such as an HDMI tuner or something like that, which would be optical audio, you would plug it in and that's how you'd hear it. I am not going to unselect Rode Podcaster because my voice would actually go away. So I'm going to select this. But if for some reason you're saying, I can hear the microphone, come back over here, and I'm going to backtrack here. System preferences, the gears, sound, and then input, and make sure that the Rode Podcaster or whatever device you're using your audio from is in fact selected. That is really the only thing that could go wrong. It's pretty simple. If you guys have any questions, you can send me an email at lozanoj@queens.edu. Thank you for listening.